Hello, everyone. GM and GN for wherever you are in the world. I'm your host, Charlie Butler. This week, we have an amazing guest on DappRadar Meets. And I'm particularly excited myself because I played the game myself. I'm addicted to it, you could say. So I'm really excited to talk to the guys we have today. The date is Tuesday, November 29th. DappRadar Meets is a series where we take a look at dapps and projects doing amazing things all across Web3. We speak to founders, project leaders, marketers, and marketers to uncover their strategies, motivations, and ideas. Now, as the world's Dapp Store, we want to highlight and showcase exciting projects and let our community get an idea of the hard work and ingenuity that goes on behind the scenes to make dapps the amazing things and projects that they are. So today I'm talking to two project managers from Benji Bananas. It's a mobile blockchain game from Animoca Brands. How are you two doing today?
Thanks, Charlie. Doing good, thanks.
Thanks, Charlie. Great.
Nice to have you on, guys. Here we have Aaron Soy and Jessica Chuk. So have I got those two pronunciations right?
Spot on.
Yeah.
Nice. Perfect. Right. So great stuff. Let me do a bit of DappRadar admin info, which will give you some idea of what the data shows for Benji Bananas. So we're all in the same playing field, so we know what we're talking about today. So Benji Bananas, as I say, mobile game, play to earn. It's essentially a very addictive game where you swing through trees and go through tasks and levels to collect coins and bananas. It's built on Polygon. So let me look at the stats here. Over the past 30 days, you've had 493 unique active wallet connections, which puts you second place among all Web3 games. That's also up to 8.42% month on month. You've had over 1 million transactions in the past 30 days, which means that people connecting to the Benji Bananas Dapp and carrying out an action. So impressive stats and one of the most popular games in Web3 at the moment. Now, guys, I want to ask you the first question. Let's start at the beginning. Please tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you ended up working with the Benji team. Are you two gamers? Are you crypto advocates, or neither, or both? Tell us a bit more about yourselves.
Sure. Thanks, Charlie. Maybe I can kick off. So yeah, my name is Aaron. My official job title is Benji's hairstylist. So if you see Benji the monkey, he's got a quiff, and that doesn't come by itself naturally. So I put in a lot of work to make sure his hair looks the way it does. Yeah, myself, it was actually the first project, Benji Bananas, that I started working on when I joined Animoca Brands. So this was about 9 months ago now. And we were really at the beginning of the journey of moving Benji from a Web 2 to Web 3 game.
Yeah.
So I think Benji was launched, almost a decade ago now. And it was a super popular mobile game, casual game. I think over its lifetime, it's had 50 million downloads on the app stores. And, a big player base and super addictive game, as you mentioned, and I'm sure you've experienced as well. So yeah, it's been a crazy journey bringing Benji into Web3. Personally, I'm a gamer myself, so growing up, played a lot of games. Currently I'm I think like most people hooked on FIFA, but I used to play a lot of different kind of genres, RPGs, casual games. I remember in my uni days I was hooked on Angry Birds and that revolution of that casual game genre.
Yeah, the mobile gaming revolution.
Yeah, totally hooked on that. So yeah, I'm crypto advocate. I'm a NFT degen. So yeah, that's me. Jessica, maybe you can introduce yourself as well.
Sure. Nice to see some familiar names here. I'm Jessica. I'm working on Benji for 6 months now. And for myself, my previous life as software management manager, and I love working with developers and designers to design better UX and creative features. So, but my official job title here is actually Benji Caretaker. So while Aaron's taking care of Benji's hairstyle, I'm taking care of Benji's daily needs and community needs.
Sorry, just to interrupt there. What are Benji's daily needs? Is it providing him with bananas and a clean cage? Or?
Exactly. And who do you thing would maintain the jungle life of Benji.
Exactly, yeah.
And everyone in jungle, right? So yeah, so been having an amazing journey with Benji and the community. So yeah, before joining the company, I'm also a crypto advocate. I'm a hoarder of numerous cryptos, and and most importantly, I joined because I totally agree with digital asset ownership, and that is what we advocate as well in the company. And I totally see the future of Web3. It's going to explode with features so much more than what we are having now. So I would love to contribute to the space as well.
Thank you very much. So with us, we have the hairstylist for Benji, and we have Benji's caretaker. So we're among exalted company. Aaron, you touched there on the move from Web 2 to Web 3. I want to just dive into that a bit more and talk about how Animoca Brands converted Benji Bananas into a blockchain play to earn and tied it up with the Yuga Labs ApeCoin. Tell us about the inspiration for the original mobile game, when it launched and who it was for, and then we can talk about the move to Web3. So talk about, I guess, let's go back a bit, talk about the original Web 2 game, and then how that moved into Web3.
Sure. So yeah, the game launched, I think, back in 2013.
Yeah.
So I guess the primary audience was casual mobile gamers. It was kind of the start of the App Store revolutions, and everyone was getting hooked on things like, as I mentioned, like Angry Birds or like Candy Crush and things like that. So Benji was one of these super popular games as well. It's casual. You can play it when you're commuting, when you're in the bus, when you're in the bathroom. So super accessible, super low barrier to entry, right? So it's also a very simple game where it's literally one button. So the button is to catch and release the vine that Benji is swinging from. So your objective for the game is really to get as far as you can just with one tap. So yeah, I think moving into late last year, the team here really saw an opportunity that we could take Benji as a IP and game that we had in house, and really convert that simplicity into the world of Web3, right? Into a space where I guess Animoca Brands and our mission is trying to really convert and onboard the next billion users into Web3.
Yeah.
So having games like Benji and an easy kind of gamer onboarding really fit the mission here. And yeah, I think we were in talks with Yuga Labs and the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and looking at what kind of utilities we can pair with the launch of ApeCoin. So Benji Bananas were actually the first utility for ApeCoin when it launched. So we launched the day after that ApeCoin launched, where you could spend 25 ApeCoin and buy the Benji Bananas membership pass. So this would kind of be the key to the whole ecosystem and allow you to play and earn.
Yeah, and we actually see a convergence of Web 2 and Web 3 players, because as Aaron mentioned, the game launched around 10 years ago, and now we are wrapping it with play and earn layers. So actually a lot of our community members enjoy the time in the game, and we can also see that Benji and Bella have actually become our friendly neighbors out in the wild, and it's not just a casual game. So recently we had a fan art competition, and we got submissions from around the world, even parents submitting drawings by their kids. So their parents would be introducing the game to their kids, and that is the fun part, and what holds the community together, and it's just really heartwarming to know that.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point you make about the onboarding of Web 2 to Web 3 players, because this is a game that obviously started as very much as Web 2 when Web 3 wasn't even known of by most people, and making it a Web 2 game with all its Web 2 fans, and adding Web 3 layers without saying now it's blockchain and now you have to do NFTs. Now you have to it's a more comfortable way for people, I guess, to realize that NFTs and cryptos and tokens and playing to earn is not the end of gaming, or it's not scary. So I think that's a great way to onboard people, as opposed to just saying, here we have a new blockchain game, buy the NFTs, start staking your tokens, do all of this, and you have to get a wallet, and it can be quite scary for people. And I think that's why a lot of people have backed away, and a lot of game companies have backed away from NFTs and Web3, because they say it's this huge change that's going to ruin things, but really it can work hand in hand with gaming. It's just a new, some might say, better way of doing it. I wanted to talk about the decision to convert to play to earn in a bit more depth, because it seemed to be a really, really well-timed marketing effort to fit in with the Apecoin launch, because they both came up in March, didn't they, this year? But I imagine that moving from Web 2 to Web 3 was a bit longer in the making than just the Apecoin's launching, let's do something to fit in with that. So when did the planning start to move to play to earn from Web 2 to Web 3? And then did the Apecoin launch, was that a happy coincidence? Was a fortunate thing.
Maybe I can take this one. So no, so it wasn't a coincidence at all. So this was, we're looking at the ecosystem, right? And how we can kind of pair up what we have in Animoca Brands with what, Yuga are launching, and then, what kind of brings synergies, right? So, obviously having a monkey in a game.
Yeah, it's perfect, isn't it?
And we were like, okay, this probably works. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we bring real value to the Bored Ape ecosystem as well. It's not just about the current player base of Benji, but also, how do we have these group of apes coming in that are, Web3 native, and they're, familiar with the space. What would kind of suit them well and serve them well as a game? So, there was a lot of planning that went into, the plan of the launch of the Primate token. And, we have to have a token to be part of this lifeblood of the Benji and Primate ecosystem as well. And then also, the whole play and earn model, right? So how exactly are these mechanics going to work? Where, because as I mentioned, Benji is quite a dated game at this point. It's been around for a while. What are the metrics and what are the kind of levers that we can pull to make it interesting for our players to play and earn, basically? So it's been pretty experimental on our end as well, where each play and earn season that we go through, we're kind of pulling different levers and seeing how player behavior changes, how people respond and our community respond to, the difficulty and the requirements that we set out for each campaign, and therefore how much each person can potentially earn as well. So that's been really interesting to try out with the community.
Yeah, without, I guess, giving away all of your secrets, what sort of things have you learned in the last few campaigns that is maybe different with Web 2 to Web 3, or that you'll be taking forward and sort of giving to your community to make gameplay and earning improved?
Yeah, I think one of the main things is that I think it's kind of obvious and goes without saying, but in Web 3, it's all about community. Whereas in Web 2, it's very different, where it's more waterfall, you launch something and then you see how people react. But here you really kind of curate and design the whole thing with the community. So a lot of the time we are, front running and putting out suggestions to our Discord or our Twitter and saying, hey, what do you think about this? Would you like A or B? What do you guys think about, this kind of competition? We actually, I think recently we launched a competition to incorporate a monkey scream. So our members of the community have been impersonating Benji noises, and the one that gets voted the most will make it into the game, right? So they can be part of that experience, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we actually have a project idea channel on our Discord. So everyone feel free to leave your suggestions. We actually look at every comment, and in the past few months we did implement some of the comments, but development takes time, right? So we might not be able to fully incorporate everyone's idea, but then in the past few months we did listen to our community, and we, for example, to be more convenient for the game. It's we launched a gameplay counter for recording game metrics, the number of gameplays on your app, so that you won't need to worry, oh, have I played like 50 games and then found out after play and learn. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Web3 communities in general, just by very nature of it being still, in the big scheme of things, a fairly niche sector, they're often a very, very well-informed community, but they also can sometimes not quite be aware of how long it takes to implement changes and updates and developments for games. You know, top games can take 3 or 4 years to make. So it's always good to, as you say, bear in mind that you do listen to people's suggestions, but of course these things take time to implement. Right, so we know sort of how the game came about and why it moved from Web2 to Web3. Sorry, I want to bring up a clip here if we can. Dive into the gameplay of Benji Bananas, see what it looks like, and get a better visual idea of what we're discussing today. So can we play the clip? Thank you very much. So that's swinging and earning with Benji Bananas. Now, I recognize some of those screens, but I don't think I got to some of the higher levels. But what you've got is a 2D game where you swing from vine to vine and you collect bananas along the way and level up. But yeah, can you tell us a bit more, I guess, not so much how the game works, because you've gone into that, but how the play to earn functionality works within the game?
Sure. So yeah, as we mentioned, we launched the Primate token, and every month we run a play and earn event phase. So basically, there's a allocation or a pool of Primate that's going to be set for each event phase, and we split it between all the participating players who are playing and earning that month. Now, these players have to hit a certain criteria. So each play and earn phase, it might be a bit different. So it really depends on kind of the levers that we decide for that month. For example, it could be based on the distance you go, or it could be based on the number of games you rack up, or hitting that minimum number of games plus maybe an average. So it's really up to the community as well as us on how we want to position this going forward. And we are looking at new ways of making the gameplay interesting and honing in on specific skills or specific things that they have to hit within the worlds to hit those objectives. Jessica, I know you wanted to fill in a little bit on the play and earn mechanism as well.
Yeah, thanks. So on the mechanism, we actually put out a survey and just try to understand, what the community prefers. For example, do you want us to, record your total bananas and total distance versus average bananas, average distance? And based on those comments, we did actually tweak a little bit for every play and earn event, and based on every play and earn event we will adjust a bit, just based on feedback on Discord or Twitter. So just to let everyone know that our fourth play and earn is still ongoing, so come join us and swing in the jungle. So for this fourth play and earn events, we're mainly focusing on furthest world, furthest distance, average bananas, and total distance. So if you want to get some of these details, join our Discord and you'll be able to find it in the play and earn channel.
So yeah, the best way to get in touch with you is through Discord and social media, generally Twitter. But yeah, go and join up to their Discord, get involved with the community and start giving your views if you're a player and you want to talk about what you want to see in the game, because obviously the team there are listening. Right, tell us more. Sorry, go on.
Sorry. Yeah, this is some really good feedback we got back as well when we actually implemented some changes. For example, before the players were saying that, oh, I really want to play the game, but I can't listen to like podcasts or music at the same time. The game was kind of set to play game music. So, we worked with our dev team, to sort that out. It wasn't that complicated to fix, but, of course, pushing out to Apple, Android.
Yeah. Yeah. It's those sort of, we lost you there, Aaron.
Hey, Charlie, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Cool, yeah. So, yeah, we got feedback back from the community that said, hey, these guys actually listen to our feedback and implement them. So, really positive with the community.
Yeah, it's a great way to make a game better, but also just to keep that community loyal and just letting them know that you're all there together. Because at the moment, Web3 is a big thing. The big thing is community, and people love to be heard. And that would really help me, for instance. That say you get into a long Benji Bananas playing session, you're playing for maybe half an hour or 45 minutes or something. It would be quite nice to have your own music on in the background, maybe, or as you say, a podcast that you can do some listening to at the same time. So I think that's a great update, and it's good to, as you say, it's good to hear that those sort of things are being listened and heard and implemented. Could you tell us a bit more about? Oh no, we've lost Aaron. Jessica, I'll leave this one to you. Could you tell us a bit more about the onboarding procedure, please? Can the game be downloaded on iOS and Android? Huh, now it's just me. Right, I have lost both of them here. So I can't answer any questions because unfortunately I will get no answers. All right, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to give them 30 seconds or so to get back involved. And then we'll carry on with the question. The question was going to be, tell us more about the onboarding procedure. Can the game be downloaded on iOS and Android? As far as I know from what I just heard, the game can be downloaded on iOS and Android. I personally play it on Android. To release, and then I was going to ask about blockchain wallets, and I think now when they come back, we'll get this confirmed. But I think that with a blockchain wallet, you only need one if you want to take your money out of it. So you can play without a blockchain wallet, I think, and then if you want to take your money out, you can link it back up. Yeah, I'll give them another 30 seconds or so, and then yeah, we'll potentially can it. But this is the joys of doing stuff. Someone's back. Aaron, how are you?
I'm good. Sorry, I got kicked off there for a minute.
No, we lost Jessica as well.
That's strange. Must have been a power surge or something.
Yeah. Right. I asked a question, then I answered it myself. But what I'm going to do is ask you this question, and I think we know the answer now. But can the game be downloaded on iOS and Android?
Yeah, so it's available on both of the platforms. So if you're on Apple or Android, you're all good.
And then the second question on that two-parter was, do you need to set up a blockchain wallet to play it?
So you don't. So there's a free-to-play mode. Actually, it's all free-to-play.
Yeah.
But if you play and earn, then you need to set up your wallet. You need to get the Benji Bananas membership pass. So only those owning the pass, the NFT, are eligible to earn Primate. And then you just need to follow a couple steps on our website to kind of link your Google account with the pass in your wallet and also do KYC. And then you're through.
Now, that goes back to what we said earlier about that way that you're onboarding Web2 people into Web3. It's that it's not, you don't say you have to have all of these things to play. You can play our game, by all means, come along and join in. But then when people start earning loads of rewards and bananas, they might start thinking, do you know what? I've spent 6 months building up these rewards. Maybe I'd like to take them out and cash them out into real money, or start getting involved in crypto and things like that. So it's a nice little segue from Web2 to Web3, where people don't feel the need to get all the complicated, scary stuff of Web3 immediately. It's a nice on-ramp. Speaking about rewards, how do players gain those, and what can they be used for inside and outside the Benji ecosystem?
Yeah, so I wanted to just touch on the on-ramp before I jump into.
Yeah, by all means.
So we just last week launched the a non-pass holder flow on our website. So basically, even if you're playing and earning, but you don't want to invest in the NFT yet, you want to kind of play around, we do have a system where you can sign up through the website and you can, play and earn. And if you're good enough, then, you can win a Benji pass, right? So we are also creating channels where it's not exclusive to people who, maybe can afford it or have the NFT already. But if you're, one of the top players that are playing and earning, you can win yourself an NFT, right? So basically, hey, onboarding those Web 2 users to Web 3, I mean, it's free for them. So, hey, if I'm good enough and I win an NFT, maybe I can take a look at how this works, right? And it'll pique their curiosity into, hey, what's Primate token? Hey, what can I actually do? So that's a channel that we've built as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's just something that a lot of Web3 platforms and projects can take on board, is the fact that we work in a worldwide sector. There's people from all different continents and countries, and what might be not very much to someone in this, let's say the US, $10 to buy something, to someone in a different country, that could be a month's wages, or it could be completely out of their range. So given that opportunity to get involved in the game, maybe even win a Benji pass through their gameplay, is a great way of onboarding people who don't necessarily have the resources to always get involved at the drop of a hat, like some people in some countries.
Yeah. So I think, one of our core values here at Animoca Brands is, inclusion. So whether it be, financially or digitally, I think, we're at the start of this kind of new internet, and it really should be for everyone. So we are finding ways to, bridge people over, be really educational as well, and let the community know, hey, this is what this is. Hey, this is actually a new way of doing things, right, compared to Web 2.
Yeah, definitely. Jessica, welcome back. Nice to see you.
Sorry about the network connection problem.
No worries at all. I was just going to have this question about the rewards. What can they be used for inside and outside the Benji ecosystem?
Sure. So currently we are working on some upcoming drops, that will be exclusively using our token. So, players who have earned it, they can hold on to it and wait for this, next release. This release will be something different. So I think some of our community members are already clued in, but we are working on some, unique NFTs that can be purchased with our token. So stay tuned for that. Join our Discord to see when that's coming. But also, we holding one of these Benji passes, you do get access, to different drops and allow lists within the Animoca ecosystem. So I know, Charlie, we spoke offline just now about how our game ecosystem and entertainment ecosystem is quite big, and we do a lot of collabs with different projects within Animoca. We had an allow list for the recent Cool Cats One Football drop. We also did one for Anycube when they launched their PFP collection. We have an upcoming collab as well with some cool external parties who have featured Benji in some of their metaverses, right? So it's pretty cool that we are able to tap into so many different games and metaverses and ecosystems, being part of the Animoca Brands family.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, go on, Jessica.
Right. So because we're talking about the benefits of being Benji pass holders, and I just want to let you guys know that don't worry if you haven't got one, because we got you covered. Just last week we actually launched a tournament specifically for non-pass holders. So anyone who signed up for the game without a pass, you guys can also join the tournament. And if you're doing well in the game, we'll actually reward you with a pass. So you stand a chance to get one if you haven't got one yet.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important news, that everyone can get involved with that. So go out and play and be the best, and you can win stuff with your skill and talent. So I want to know, I guess we've spoken about the past of Benji Bananas, and what's happening at the moment, and the ongoing gameplay and the things that people can do with this, winning a pass and the current play and earn thing at the moment. But what can you tell us about the future of Benji Bananas? What's on the roadmap? Are there going to be any more play to earn features? Will you be changing the layout of the game so that it's 3D, or you're going to stick to 2D, or what sort of things can we expect on the roadmap of Benji Bananas?
Right. So maybe, our community has been wondering, what am I going to do with hands full of tokens earned from play and earn, right? And so we are, in the process of designing ways to spend tokens, and potentially we'll also have, in-app purchases that you could use Primate to buy. And of course, during the whole process, we'll also actively engage with the community, just to see any ideas you would like us to implement. And, because a lot of ideas actually came from the community, and ultimately it's the community who's playing the game and who's, enjoying, swinging in the jungle. So we actually welcome a lot of feedback and all these novel ideas, because we are actually building this together. It's not just us building and you guys enjoying and playing the game, right? Because we're in this together.
Did you want to jump in there on something? Did you say something? No. I want to take a step back here as well from the actual gameplay and find out about partnerships and events. They're vital for success in Web3. Is there anything in terms of partnerships or anything like that that's exciting on the horizon for Benji Bananas? Now, obviously, you've got the Yuga Labs one as well. But are there any more exciting things that fans could watch out for in terms of partnerships?
Yeah, so we do have a number of things in the works. As I mentioned, we are talking to, a metaverse company that are looking to do some code drops with Benji. So yeah, early talks there, and then also we of course we're working closely with Yuga and seeing how, because a lot of our pass holders are also apes, right? So yeah, a lot of cool stuff on the horizon. I think also, as we grow larger, we're getting a lot more kind of collaboration requests. So we're looking to be careful on how we position and how we grow the community. Of course, we want to keep our Benji community at forefront and center, and bring value to the asset that they hold, which is the Benji Pass as well as our token. So yeah, every collab and every kind of strategic partnership that we're building has to make sense for us and our community. Yeah, so of course, we do a lot of collaborations internally with the Animoca Brands ecosystem owners and games as well. So those are going to be coming along as well.
Because I was thinking you've almost got ready-made partnerships there for you that you can easily integrate with and start doing sort of a symbiotic relationship where everyone sort of wins and benefits from working with these other massive brands within the Animoca Brands ecosystem. I could imagine a situation where a Benji Bananas character played in one of the driving games in Animoca Brands, and that'd be really cool, or something along those lines where you're having all these cross-pollination partnerships where you just see someone pop up from one part of the ecosystem into another part. And I think that's a big part of the future Web3, where it's this composability and people working across chains and all working together and having this sort of one identity that goes across all different parts of the metaverse. On that sort of note of Web3 and the sort of future of it, in your opinion, what are the 3 critical ingredients for any brand to be active in Web3? And I guess this is from your point of view, from Animoca Brands and from Benji. What sort of things make really big success in Web3 now that Benji has been in Web3 since March, and you've learned a few things along the way? What sort of things make for success and a good future in the Web3 world?
Good question. Jessica, do you want to take this one first?
Sure. From my point of view, I think, as Benji's caretaker, obviously would be listening and building together with the community, because I think the ultimate goal is to have something that you find interesting and identifies with, and also along the line of having a sense of ownership in this. And it's not just you're in it for the game, for the fun, and then leaving the community behind. And because we are seeing a lot of community members coming together, and we can see that they actually genuinely want us to be successful. And I think this is a great opportunity where everyone can just come together and make this a successful game.
Yeah, for myself. Oh, Jessica, go ahead. Yeah.
No, sure. I was just asking what's your view on this, on community side, and also in terms of hairstyle or anything. Yeah.
If I were to list, the critical ingredients for a good hair, hair quality, I could be here all day. But I'll focus on Web3. Yeah, so actually, we're doing a lot of, this kind of came up internally as well, not just for Benji, but for Animoca Brands as a whole, right? So what's important to be successful in this space? So the first one I think is dynamic and iterative, where you have an ever-changing landscape and market. So how do you pivot to what is going on out there, right? Because we can't just be a walled garden and not take feedback and not take market conditions into account. There are other things going on in the space, so we have to always be dynamic and kind of on the fly and adapt to that. Secondly, I think, echoing Jessica, right, have to be super community driven and show value to the community. So these people are gamers. They invest their time, they invest their assets into our community and our ecosystems. So we have to show that love back, right? We have to make sure that the time they put in is rewarded, and to make sure that we listen to them as well. And lastly, I think being super data driven and analytical, right? Because like people who come to DappRadar, they look at the stats, they make a decision based on numbers and what they see. This game's doing well. This is getting a lot of traction. So yeah, as a consumer, naturally you're gonna compare and look at what kind of offerings and where you'll best spend your time as well. So for us as a project, we have to take all the game data, all the on-chain data that we can, and look at how to make decisions based on those kind of insights that we get, and how we then pivot the whole kind of community forward into what makes sense.
Yeah, I think that point you made about being dynamic and iterative is really, really, really important, just because it's something that we at DappRadar find, every day. It's a challenge we have to face every day, because there's no set path for how you go down this road. You're making new things up every day to try and, surmount the challenges that you face, because there is no roadmap that's been trodden before. So you're kind of learning, changing, admitting your failures if they come up, listening to your community and just trying new stuff, as you say, iterating, and then see if it is successful the next time. So how do you see on that note of, we're at the forefront of a new tech and we're trying to make new things that have never been done before. How do you see the play to earn and blockchain gaming landscape right now? And how do you see it sort of changing in the next 1 to 5 years? How do you see, this is right at the start, let's say, what can this space grow into and how could it look? I know we're not looking for answers of exactly what it will be, but your predictions of how you think the space will look.
Sure.
What's the future hold for gaming in Web3, basically?
Yeah, so maybe a little bit on what I alluded to earlier as well. I think the transition of Web 2 gamers to Web 3 will need to be super, the word I'm looking for is seamless, right? Because you can no longer have clunky infrastructure and all these kind of hoops you need people to jump through to play your game, right? That's just not going to happen. So we almost have to make it, I think, we're moving towards something that's more of a game with blockchain elements, right? Instead of a blockchain game. It has to be almost invisible under the hood. The sexy thing about the game is not the infrastructure. The sexy thing is the game itself, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
obviously it has to be fun. And I guess the game economy has to make sense. I think, not talking about just tokens or crypto, even in traditional games, it's really easy to mess up the whole game economy, right? Like when World of Warcraft, when they launched their auction house, things aren't right on day one, but it takes time to adjust. It takes time to calibrate, and then you have kind of a working economy with prices that make sense. Or even when you launch a new kind of class or skill, you have buffs and debuffs. Things get nerfed, so it really takes some calibration as well, which I think we're seeing in the space as well. Drawing that parallel back to tokenomics, we maybe at the start of GameFi you saw a lot of Ponzi-nomics, right, and a lot of models that weren't sustainable. How do we stay sustainable in this space and move towards something that is here to stay and will keep players engaged? So I think there's no easy kind of path and no easy answer, but I think all games aren't easy to make, right? Good games are very hard to make and take years and years to kind of craft. So yeah, Jessica, I don't know if you have anything you want to add on that.
Yeah, actually, echoing what you were saying about having a smooth transition from Web 2 to Web 3 in terms of user experience. I think it also comes back to the point of having more involvement from the community. I think this would be a game changer, because traditionally a lot of games just publish and then the community see what's the response from the community. But I think, as this is also what our Benji fam is doing, right? To contributing ideas and content and how to incorporate the ideas and content into the game, even, in the Benji jungle ecosystem, right? So I think this would be the future of, play to earn, and actually in terms of like the whole Web3 gaming landscape.
So more community-driven development and genuine voices being heard from the community, because they have actually got real mediums to talk to the developers through, stuff like Discord and Twitter, but also I guess the advent of the DAO and people being able to vote on stuff by holding tokens. Those sort of things have actual clout where people can say, look, I think this is what we should do with the game. And if enough people then join up to say that's how they should do it, that's how decisions can get made in this new decentralized world, where we have tools to have true decentralization that hopefully no one can take full control and power of. Aaron, I wanted to go back to what you said about the Ponzi-nomics there, just quickly. I guess people learned a lot of lessons from 2021, where everything was riding high and things just kept getting better and better. But when 2022 came, obviously we saw a lot of things crash and burn and token prices plummet. Gamers left games, and a lot of games failed or are not as good as they used to be or not as popular as they used to be. One of the things that gamers or game developers are doing is making sure they make a game first that has play to earn as an added extra or a fun extra, not let's do it play to earn first and then we'll add a game to it. So what I guess is Animoca Brands, how are they combating the tokenomics problem or the Ponzi-nomics problem of making sure that there's not going to be this inflated economy that then crashes when people start leaving it? What sort of things have been put in place to make sure that doesn't happen to Animoca Brands games?
Totally. No, thanks for asking this. Super important points, right? I think, what we've seen in the past 2 years is unsustainable economies where, when we're in a bull market, everyone's making money, the token price is, sky high.
Yeah.
Hence, the game works, right? Because you have assets that are highly sought after with a limited supply. And then you also have a token, or maybe in some cases, a two-token economy, which is supporting that. And of course, that kind of works when the game economy is sustainable and is making money for everyone. But of course, once you get that, the inflow of new money come to a stop, right? And then you have, the token price maybe not as what it was before, and then players leaving the game. Obviously, then it all comes to a stop, right? And you don't get that same network effect. And so it basically brings out a lot of holes in economies, right? And where it's not sustainable. So to circle back on your point, what we're doing at Animoca Brands is to really make sure that, as you said, the game is built first and the in-game economy is robust and sustainable. That involves, doing a lot of modeling and scenario-based modeling to make sure in certain situations, this could be what happens. We run a lot of simulations to see what will happen in different, market conditions, scenarios, as well as how it will affect each output of the token, right? So looking at how that will affect, buying pressure, selling pressure, how that balances within our different liquidity pools. So, a whole lot of different levers and considerations and a whole lot of outcomes.
Mm. Jessica, was there anything
Hey,
you
Charlie,
wanted
are
to
you
add?
still there?
Yeah. Can you hear me? I think maybe. Can you still hear me, everyone?
I can.
So, Jessica, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Maybe we've lost Aaron. Was there anything you wanted to add to that in terms of what Animoca Brands is doing to safeguard against potential problems in the future? Or was that kind of covered by what Aaron said?
Yeah, pretty much. Like what Aaron says, we did a lot of, simulation, and then we also have a lot of discussions internally and make sure we're up to date with the market and everything that's happening within the space. And also, be transparent with the community as well, and just to make sure everyone's on the same page. So yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah. And I think there's also a lot of learning we can take from the 2021, 2022 inflation and then sort of crash, was that we've learned those lessons, that these things, when they're riding high, don't assume that it's going to all carry on at the same pace, and that we have to think of the future, that things won't always be as good as they were in the past. I mean, it sounds a bit pessimistic, but it's also true that we need to plan for the future of not just the moment, the here and now, when everyone's riding high. I'll chuck this one out to both of you. How important do you find platforms like DappRadar to give mainstream users those data-driven insights into the sort of Web3 games and Web3 powered applications? Because obviously it's a whole community where we all sort of feed each other, and we talk about games, but then games need these platforms as well. So how do you find that exposure from platforms like DappRadar that helps you get the users in and get people coming to play your games?
Yeah, one very noticeable change would be we're getting a lot of attention and collaboration opportunities from community and also from different brands or within our ecosystem as well. So definitely being, in the top list of Dapp games, it definitely opens up a lot of opportunities for us, and it would actually drive user acquisition with our proven high DAU. So definitely, and as just as players or users, first of all, you'll look at how much how many daily active users or unique wallets there are for this game, and then maybe that's interesting, maybe a lot of people are playing, so maybe I'll try as well. So it opens up a lot of opportunities for us, and it's a really good way to stand out from the community in or within the game ecosystem. So yeah. And Aaron, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. Sorry, I got cut off there again.
No worries.
I'm back now. Yeah, definitely. Really love the platform and love what you guys are doing there and fully support it. And of course, yeah, I think just echoing Jessica brings a lot of credibility to our project as well, you know, where we have our on-chain metrics showing, and you know, the whole community can see that, you know, this is our player base, this is what's going on every day. So yeah, definitely in this kind of landscape, transparency and you know, yeah, this is what it's all about. So yeah, big thank you to you guys, and thanks for having us on today again.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Yeah, something we have to constantly work on in terms of that transparency is getting all of these smart contracts and data sources all up to date so that people can see everything in real time and the most accurate data possible. But yeah, we've got the whole list of all the top games, Web3. So I'd say to anyone, go to www.DappRadar.com to check out all the games lists and see, you know, you can see Benji Bananas there at the top, but you can see some of the really popular games as well that are definitely worth checking out. Right, I've got a couple more questions for you, and then I'll let you get off. Now, where can people reach out to your team? What are the best channels? I think we've touched on this already, but let's just repeat where people can get in touch with the Benji Bananas community.
Sure. Yeah, as we previously mentioned, or at the beginning of the AMA, feel free to reach us on Discord. We read messages from time to time, especially the project idea channel, and we also post latest updates there. So if you're pass holder, you'll get latest updates, and we'll also hold AMA there from time to time. And you know, not to just to let everyone know what's the project status or what's the game status, but also to get to know who our Benji friends are, and of course get to know Benji.
Yeah, and this is a question for me personally, as you two are Benji's hairstylist and caretaker, will we get to meet or see any more characters within the game? Are there going to be any introductions of friends?
Yeah, great question. I see the grin on your face, Charlie. Yeah, I think, yeah, of course, we have different characters baked into the game. So there's Bella, which is Benji's girlfriend, who has appeared on ancient, you know, Benji social media posts before. But I think I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, we'll announce whatever's coming when it comes.
Exciting stuff. Right, there you go. There you go, everyone. Thank you very much to Benji's hairstylist and caretaker, Jessica and Aaron. Thanks for joining us. You've been amazing, and you've answered the questions really well and really given us some insights into the game and where it's been and where it's going from here. And to everyone listening, I'd say go to DappRadar.com and check out Benji Bananas. Check out the page on DappRadar where you'll find on-chain metrics, historical performance activity, info about NFT sales, and also, you know, secure links to the game where you'll be able to go and play the game yourselves. Yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. And just next up, on Thursday, we're meeting the guys at Arbitrum, which is a layer 2 optimistic roll-up built on top of Ethereum. Until then, have a good one and see you all later. Thanks again, Aaron and Jessica. Yeah, have a good rest of your day. Cheers, everyone.